Hey y'all, it's Miss Alamo from Booley High School. I was just making one last video because there were questions that were on previous practice tests that weren't on this one, and I wanted to make sure you were aware of how to work those in Desmos. So, the first one is an absolute value problem. First thing you do when you get to Desmos, go ahead and turn it into complex mode. That's going to help us a lot. So now, I want to get my keyboard up. And I'm having technical difficulties with this thing here. Just see if I can move it out of the way. Okay. All right, here's my absolute value bars. So now I just have to type what's inside of them. 6 minus 4. I want to arrow over to get out of that absolute value bar. Minus, I need a second absolute value bar of 3 minus 8. And my answer is -3. So that's kind of cool that it did all that figuring for me. That allows me more time on the ones that I need to work out by hand. So -3 is the correct answer. Next question. This expression is equivalent to that. So first thing I wanted to make you aware of is in Desmos, we like X's and Y's. So any problem like this, I'm just going to change one of them to X, the other one to Y. So let's do 4X minus 3D. But I'm going to change that to 3Y. Get out of that parenthesis, open a new parenthesis, 3X, I'm going to change the C to X, plus D, which is my Y, plus Y. All right, I get a little error. It said try adding an equal sign. I'm going to put equal anything I want, as long as when I get to the second part of this, I do the same number. So that's equal. Now I'm going to go in and try each of the option answer choices. 12, and in place of C, we put X squared. To do the squared, you can use this button and then press the 2. You could also do Shift 6. Or, yeah, I think that's about it. So then I'm going to do the next part, which is minus 13xy minus 3y squared. Again, I have to put that equal sign there. I said the other one was equal to 3. I got to make this one equal to 3. That is not the same graph, so that is not the right answer. If I look at the option choice B just changes the minus to a plus. Still not the same one. Let's go to option choice C. This is going to be minus a 5. Minus a 5xy and plus the 3y squared. Oh, that's cool, but it's not the same graph. So let me try the next one. Oh, that's the plus. That was D. Let me try putting this as a minus. And here we go. The exact same curve. If it's the exact same curve, that means they are equivalent. So my correct answer here is C. All right, in the standard XY coordinate plane, the point 21 is the midpoint of CD. Point C has coordinates of 6 and 8. What are the coordinates of point D? So I'm just going to graph these and see if I can obviously tell what it is. So my ordered pair of 2, 1, which is my midpoint. I'll label that. And then the second ordered pair is 6, 8. Label it. All right, I see where they are. This one here is the midpoint. The 2, 1 is the midpoint right here. So I want to do the opposite and go from that first one, the midpoint, to get to the 6, 8. I would go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I would go over to the right 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have 7 up, 4 to the right. I need to do the opposite of that to get to this next point, which is I'm going to go down. I'm going to go down 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then go to the left 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right here. That ordered pair is -2, -6. So I do want to see this on the graph. So I'm going to plot that point. -2, -6. And just try to look at it visually. It does look like it is the midpoint. I think down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think this needs to go down one more. I think I miscounted because it didn't look like it. Now it looks more like it. Okay. I'm trying something new right now, but I did remember seeing in the functions a midpoint. Let's see if I can find that again. Scrolling through the functions, I'm trying to find a midpoint. Midpoint. Oh wow, this might be even easier because I could have just tried the answer choices. So I need the midpoint of 6, 8. And I think I might need a comma in between here. And I think it's -3, -6. Actually, it can't be -3. That was supposed to be a -2 because my answer choice doesn't have a -3. So let me try that. -2, -6. And it tells me 2, 1. Yay, y'all, that was easy. So all that other stuff was a waste of time here. So what we should have just done is gone straight to midpoint and typed in each answer choice. G is the correct one. Next one, what is the slope of the line in standard XY coordinate plane that is parallel to this equation? I'm going to graph that. X plus 5y equals 9. All right, so parallel lines have equivalent slopes. So what I'm going to do is do my rise over run with the points that I know are pretty points, meaning they are on the intersections of the grid lines. That is not even a pretty point. This is a pretty point. This is a pretty point. I'm thinking rise over run. So I'll go up 1 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the left, which makes it a -1/5. Now, what is the slope of the line parallel? Parallel tells me they have the same slope, okay? But I do want to test that in Desmos. So my slope is -1/5, I think. This is what I think. So I'm going to just create a line. Y equals, in slope intercept form, -1 over 5x. And I can see that does in fact look parallel. So I know my answer is correct. Next one, 27 over 64 raised to the -2/3 power. So let me just clear this out. X. So I'm going to put it in parentheses, 27 over 64. Get out of the parentheses. Now I want to have an exponent that is -2/3. I get 1.77777. Let's check that answer choice. -9 over 16. So I know it's not going to be a negative. So try 9, option C is 9 over 32. Forgot to get rid of my negative. That's not correct. What about 16 over 9. Whoa, back up. 16 over 9. Ah, that is the exact same decimal, so J is correct. 34. In standard XY coordinate plane, a circle has its center at 8, 5, and a radius of 9. Which equation is that? So I'm just going to try one answer choice at a time. X minus 8, close that parenthesis, square it, minus, nope, plus, open a parenthesis, y minus 5, close it, square it, and that should be equal to 81. All right, so I know that the center should be at 8, 5. Oh my God, undo. Here we go. Did this go all the way to 81? Yeah, it did. Okay, so I know that the center of this circle, first of all, I messed up somewhere because that is not a circle. You can see what I typed. The center of this circle is supposed to be at 8, 5. So I'm going to plot that point, 8, 5. That does appear to be the center. The radius is from the center out to any part of that, but I'm going to use going out this way because that is my grid lines that make it so I can count. It goes out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I have radius of 9. My center is 8, 5. That is the correct answer. F. Next one. We're not really doing a graph of this one. We're just using it as the calculator because it does those functions for us that we know. So sine, I'm going to have to go sit down, so if I get quieter it's because I'm across the room at my desk. So I'm going to type sine 60, close it, open a new parenthesis, cosine 30, close it, plus, open a new parenthesis, cosine 60, close it, open a new one, sine 30. All right, this is the decimal that I should have. I'm going to try my answer choices. Cosine 60 minus 30 is not the same decimal. Cosine 60 plus 30, still not the same decimal. Let's change this to sine. Option C says sine 60 minus 30. It's not that. Option D, 60 plus 30. Those are equivalent decimals. So I know that J was my correct answer here. Oh, this one was F. All right. All right, for this one, f of x equals x squared minus 4, g of x equals x plus 3. And it says, what are the values for which f of g of x equals 0? I honestly don't know if I can do this in here. I'm going to pretend I can. Alright, so it looks like it's giving me 2 places. Nope, just one. I'm looking for when it equals 0, which is at -1, but I'm not seeing the other one. Oh, here it is. Sorry, I needed to zoom out. -5, -1. So option A is the correct answer. All right, in 54. First of all, remember, I got P and N, I'm changing it to X and Y. But in 54, it says, given that P is a positive number, N is a negative number, and the absolute value of P is greater than the absolute value of N. That means the digit has to be bigger for P. Which of the following expressions has the greatest value? Okay, so I'm just going to say P has to be a bigger digit. I'm going to make something up. I'm going to let P be 5. And I'm going to let N, since it has to be negative and a smaller digit than 5, I'm going to do -2. All right? Now I'm going to test each of these answers. Inside my absolute value, I have to have a fraction bar, so I start with that division or slash on your keyboard. And I'm just going to use my numbers. 5 minus a -2 over P, which is 5. That gives me 1.4. Going to do the similar thing, but this time my denominator is going to have the N value of -2. That gives me 3.5. So far, that's the bigger one. Now I have P plus N, so I'm changing this to a plus. 5 plus -2 over P minus N. So that one is going to be 5, I'm get rid of that negative, sorry. 5 minus -2. That is definitely smaller, not doing that one. P plus N, which is 5 plus -2, over P, which is 5. That gives me 0.6. Nope. What about if I put this over N, -2? I get 1.5. So my correct answer has to be G. All right, next one. If you type this in and you don't see this cosine curve, it may be because you forgot to put it in complex mode. So complex mode right here is what allows us to be able to graph in radians. So I'm trying to match my equation to this graph. Y equals 2. Sorry, I have to come back to my desk again to type cosine. 2 cosine and in parentheses x over 3. All right. So what it's supposed to be doing right here is going up 3, which this is only going up 2. So that's not it. The next one is y equals 2 cosine 3x. All right, it is going up 2. I'm going to put the point, the other information I have is that this is y over 2. So I'm going to put that on the x-axis by making it an ordered pair with y over 2, comma 0. Okay, so right here is where I see that is my pi over 2. This one does not have anything on it. It has my first minimum. So I know this equation is not right. Let's try the next one. Y equals 3 cosine x over 3. Definitely not right. Y equals 3 cosine x over 2. Still does not look right. Y equals 3 cosine 2x. And here it is. Oh, this is going up to 3, up to 3. This is in the middle of where my first minimum is. So I know it is K. Next one is a log problem. Solve log x 81 equals 4 for x. So Desmos knows logs, y'all. Isn't that great? Now, what you need to make sure you know how to do is make that subscript for that 3. So on your keyboard, Shift minus sign brings it down to make a subscript. So log X, then I want to come out of the subscript, 3x, that is my first one. The next one is f of x is log 3 9x, log shift minus 3, and inside the parentheses 9x. What did I do? Why did I do that? Parentheses 9x. And the third one is log. Are those all supposed to be 3s? They are. This should have been a 3 right here. I'm sorry, y'all, my eyes. I'm an old lady, in case you didn't tell by my voice. I'm an old lady, so my eyes are really bad. So this is log subscript by doing shift minus 3 x over 3. All right, I've got all 3 graphs here. Let's see what my questions are asking me. Oh, y'all, I skipped. I'm sorry. I'm doing number 7 right now. I skipped 5 and 6. I'm going to come back to it. I apologize. They will have the same vertical asymptote, the same x-intercept. They definitely don't. Curve the same direction is true. Oh, okay. Okay. It's asking me which statement will not be true. So they do have the same vertical asymptote. They don't have the same x-intercept. They have the same curve direction, and they do have the same domain. All right, next one. Let's go back to number 5. Did I even do 3? I skipped 3. How did I end up on 7? I have no idea, y'all. I apologize. It's a long day. Log of x, 81 equals 4. Where is that at? That is at 3. 3 is my answer. The function s of d equals 300 log d plus 65 relates s to d, the speed of wind near the center of a tornado in miles per hour. Let me just type that in. S of d equals 300 log subscript by the shift minus d. And now I am allowed to use d's whenever it's a function like this. Plus 65 plus 65, where is this at? I don't even see it on the graph. Okay, anyway, it's talking about the speed of the wind in the center of the tornado in miles per hour to D. So that means this is going to equal 400, I think. But it doesn't. Hold on, give me a second. Function S of D equals 300 log D plus 65. Yo, is that supposed to be subscript or just log D? Relates the speed wind near the center of the tornado in miles per hour to the D distance the tornado it travels. if the wind center near this center of the tornado reaches a speed of 400 miles per hour. So S of D is the speed. So I'm going to change this to 400, and now I'm going to change this D to an X. And my answer is a little bit more than 13. So estimate the distance traveled is a little over 13, so it'll be 13 miles. Next one, number 6, log subscript 2, 4, raise that to the 5th, equals 10, done. Evaluate log subscript 2, and now I want to do the cube root. For cube roots, we go to the functions, all the way at the bottom, I see the nth root function. I want to make that a 3, and then under the radical, 64. Sorry, this was, yes, log 2, cube root, 64. What's this telling me? Use parentheses around the log. Let me try that and see what it says. Log 2. Type in it just as I see it. I don't understand what the problem is. Let's do this. Let's just find the cube root of 64 first. So I'm going to copy that. Cube root of 64 is 4, so now let me just put a 4 in here. There we go, it's 2. Okay, so it didn't like it typed in with a cube root of 64. So off to in a second line, you can do the cube root of 64, which is 4, and then put the 4 in place. Substitute in place of this, put your 4. Then you get your answer is 2. All right, next one. Let's solve 5 raised to the 2 minus x. So I'm going to do 5, caret shift 6, 2 minus x. Notice it brought it down. It's not liking when I do that, so that's telling me I'm going to have to put this 2 in parentheses and then do 2 minus x. Okay, because it wouldn't look the same if I didn't. And then that's supposed to equal 1 over 125. That is at 5. Solve log, and then open parentheses, 3x plus 1, close the parentheses, equals 5. So I'm looking for my solution. Why am I not seeing it? Let's do this instead. So I'm not immediately seeing it. What I want to do is put the number of my choices in there. So I'm going to do 4/3. Let's do times 4/3. Why is it making me do this? Get rid of the x, sorry. Okay, so that is not right. Let's try the next answer choice. 8. That is still not equal to 5, because I want it equal to 5, this answer right here. Let's try 300. Still not 5. Let's try 33,333. Finally, I get my answer to be 5. So D is correct. For all x is greater than 0, which of the following expression is equal to log, open a parentheses, put a new parentheses, 2x, close that, raise it to the 1/2 power. I see this graph right here. I'm looking for the one that matches. Log x is not the same graph. Log 1 plus log x over 2, still not the same graph. Be sure, y'all, that if you were looking at it from here, from out here, it kind of looks like it. Make sure that you always go back to your home default view by pressing the little house. Now I can see that's not the same graph. But I also see that I typed it in wrong. I need to put this as x over 2. Still not the same graph. Next one, log 2, then 1/2 log x. Still not the same graph. Try D, 1/2 log 2, 1/2 log 2 plus 1/2 log x. And look at that, it is the exact same graph. It's directly on top, the blue line's directly on, curve is directly on top of the red one. So that tells me that D is the right answer. These are just doing some simple evaluations with logs. Log, I'm going to subscript by shift minus. Log 10, and then arrow out of that in parentheses, 10 to the 5th. And I get 5 as the answer. So I don't have to know what any of this means, honestly. I just have to be able to type it into Desmos. Simplify log 2, open the parentheses, 8, close the parentheses, minus, I have an extra letter right here, sorry, minus log 2, 2, in parentheses 2. Log 2, 8 minus log 2, 2. Why did it give me a decimal of 0.6? Did I type something wrong? Oh, I remember now. These were supposed to be subscripts right here. This paper, for some reason, where I copied it from, did not do the subscripts it was supposed to do. So I'm going to take this 2 and hit shift minus, and it's going to bring it down as a subscript for me. And I do get the answer 2. Next one, what is log 5, in a subscript 5, and then in parentheses 25. I get 2 again. Next one, log 5x minus log subscript 5, 2. Equals 1. So I'm looking for where that line comes down, and I see it is right on that 10. So 10 is my answer. So So everything doing with logs, the E, the natural log, the ln, all that, is you just type the letters in Desmos. So for this one, I'm just gonna type E. I'm gonna shift 6 to get my caret up there. ln, in parentheses, 9. And I get 9. Bam. Next, what is the value if ln x equals 4? Alright, so here is where it's at. Keep in mind on ACT you have multiple choice options. So once I see that line, I'm going to see if I can come close with E raised to the 4th. Does that look like it's at 54.59? Or I can even also make y equal, and it should have put a graph, but it didn't. But if you're looking at the graph, you can tell that it is 54, a little bit more than 54 and a half. So either the 4 would have been the right choice. All right, I hope this helps. I'm done. Good luck, everybody.